Using some low-cost hardware and free software, read and display your energy consumption if you have a smart meter. If you have a smart meter, you should be able to see your consumption. However, when I tried to do this on my electric meter, it turned into a week-long ordeal getting it set up. This video will hopefully help you get going faster, and I suggest you take this step by step. Let's talk about hardware. This is what I used. I bought one of these about 6 or 7 years ago. It was not used much before now, but it's a good fit to get the data from the electric meter. I am using the software-defined radio dongle, the NooELec, plugged into a ThinkPad W520 laptop running Linux Mint 19.3. So once you get your NooELec SDR, plug it in and then do an LS USB, and it should show you have a Realtek Semiconductor Corp Rtl 2838 DVB-T. And once you have that, you can then go to the next step. Once you have this hardware done, you need software to run it. What I do is, or try to do, is use the Synaptics Package Manager to install all software. For example, GQRX I installed via the Synaptics Package Manager. And if you can see that is loaded. You can then type in that shows you that the hardware works and this software works. So next, what you need to do is go into this and kind of follow this. But once again, you'll have to get the software package Golang, and once again I tried to use the Synaptics, so I used a 1.10 Go. And the reason you need the Go language is because the Rtl AMR and Rtl AMR-collect uses that. So I installed the Golang. I then needed to install Git. And this is one of the times that I couldn't find Git on the package manager, so you can do an apt-get install Git. And when you do that, and then you install Rtl AMR, you do a go get GitHub bemasher Rtl AMR, and you can also install Rtl collect. I did not do this because it didn't seem to stop the conflicting DVB drivers from loading, because it didn't seem to matter. Then you can install Rtl-SDR. Usually I don't put the -y because I want to see if it's going to tell me how much room it's going to take. Doesn't really matter, but that is what that is about. So you can try Rtl_test, and you can see that do a Control-C to get out of that, that is working. Next, I did the next I created the etc. systemd system Rtl Tcp Service. If you want to know more about the services, you're going to have to Google it or look it up on YouTube. But this is the service, and this is where it's at. And this is where you enable it to start at boot. When I installed Rtl collect and Rtl AMR, it ended up here. It's under the Go directory. And there's the two executables. As he said, for a quick test, we can check Rtl AMR by going to where it is and starting it up. So, and there it is. So that works. You may have to restart or start Rtl_tcp.service for this to work if you have done something out of step. So next, what I did is set up an Rtl Tcp service. Here's the environmental ones that I did. The first thing is the host name, and then you need to set up the influx database, and I called mine WatsDB. And then you need these two, whether you set up a influx database user or password. Otherwise things don't work well. And then you need the service, and notice, can't find anything like that, and that is because he did just exactly like me and put ARM instead of AMR. So here's the start, and I put in the path all the way from slash to home to Lloyd to go to bin. Rtl AMR center frequency is 915, 600, 177. Filter ID is my watt meter. Unique is true because as you run it, the takes about 30 seconds or so for the decawatt, or every 10 watts, to change. And then format is JSON. Message type for this meter is SCM, and then pipe it into home, Lloyd, go, bin, Rtl AMR collect. So that was kind of following the information on here. One thing they didn't discuss was how to get the influx database going. This is essentially, you create a database, and this is how Andreas' piece shows you how to do
a
it.
Raspberry and open Influx, the client to the database. Then we create our database.
To get influxdb and the ability to get influxdb and the ability to type in influx, I used the Synaptic Package Manager, and you need influxdb and influxdb client. And when you type in influx, and that shows the databases, show users, there are none. Once you have that, then you can get the connected all together with the services. Now we put everything together and start up the service. We've already started Rtl_Tcp. Now we should be able to start. I'm going to restart because I already had this running. And then he says we should be able to go to tail varlog influxdb. That doesn't work for me. So what I had to do was see what the status was. And if you have that, if you have these, things are going well. If not, then things are not going well. Quit out of that. Wait a couple minutes and try it again. There should be another one coming up here shortly. Yep. To get things working, I had to set the try that again. Hopefully there'll be more than two. And there is. So things are working. Rtl AMR and Rtl AMR collect to 777. Which is, from everything I read, not a good thing. However, if I didn't do that, I put it was getting a 404 error on the status. Appears to be working. Now let's see if that has updated. Appears it has. Let's go the last 30 minutes. And most likely this is high because of what we did. Okay, one instance has passed. Pretty soon we'll get into another one, but looks like all this is working. The last part of the puzzle is to install and set up Grafana. Grafana is in the Synaptic packages, and then to start it, you can put in localhost :3000 login, and you can log in that way, or you can use the IP address. And let's see what Andreas Spies has to say.
012. We can test the installation by connecting with the browser to Node-RED on port 1880 and to Grafana on port 3000. Both use admin as credentials.
We can then set up the data source influxdb, and it'll be named influxdb. Here's the URL. We use the access this browser, basic authorization. User is user, password is password, database is what's DB, user, password. And if you save and test, then you can go back, go to home, you created your first data source, and we've got some dashboards. And the way you do your dashboard is, let us see how Andreas does it.
Cool. Now we are ready to fire up Grafana on its port 3000. We add a new data source and fill in these parameters: a name and a type, the default address, and the basic authentication for influxdb. Then the name of the database we created before and the credentials again. Now we are ready to test the connection. Next we can go back and start to create our first dashboard. We call it weather. Of course it is empty till we add a panel. The first is outside temperature, and we edit the panel data. The source is our only measurement.
To find out what the parameters are on the original difference 15-minute interval, click on the panel title and edit. And you can see that's from the default Rtl AMR, where endpoint equals the ID, fuel consumption, last 0, difference 0, time 15, group by time 15 minute, fill null, format is time series, visualization is bars, and general we can put down a different panel title. And that is it pretty much. So good luck on getting everything set up.